a massive PlayStation 5 event. More details on the new Xbox Series X. We got a lot to unpack here, so let's go. Alright guys, so the PS5 event just happened. It was a very big event. We need to cover a lot of stuff here, and then after that we're going to talk quickly about Xbox Series X and all the specs we know about that, and their interesting counter strategy to what Sony's doing. So let's talk about this event. We'll show some video clips as well. Now, so first off, real quick, I want to talk about the price, get that out of the way. It's going to be $500 for the physical edition, or $499, and $400 for the digital only edition. So that's exactly, not to brag, but what I predicted the prices would be. So we got that. Okay, so the PS5 event kicked off. They showed Final Fantasy 16. Mostly cutscene, a little bit of gameplay. They said they did say it's an exclusive, but I did some research and apparently it's a timed exclusive, so it's a little misleading. I don't like that messaging, but yeah, the trailer looked good. It showed the combat looks like Final Fantasy 15, and that was a very solid game, I would think. It's not exactly what I want from Final Fantasy, but I think I liked it a lot more than the other modern entries. But yeah, it's timed exclusive, very good get for Sony, and yeah, looks pretty neat. You can see the combat's pretty frenetic there. A lot of different action. I don't know, I prefer the turn-based stuff, but it still looks good. So let's go over. After that, they showed Spider-Man Miles Morales. This is going to be a big one for Sony. It's made by Insomniac. The first game that they made was amazing. Was my number 3 game of the year for that one. They did show a lot of gameplay, first ever gameplay as far as I know. The only thing I'm still curious about, and I'm not totally sure how big this game will be. The messaging has been a little mixed as to whether it's going to be, it's not a direct sequel, but it's also not just DLC. So I'm not sure. I tried to look up price on it. I couldn't find anything. So I'm not sure exactly what that's all about. But as long as there's a pretty substantial new stuff, I'm in for that one. That's a holiday 2020, and that's certainly exclusive. Let's see here. Then they showed a new Harry Potter game by Warner Brothers and Avalanche. They made the Mad Max game, which is actually pretty good. I'm not a Harry Potter guy. The graphics, honestly, in this game didn't look super impressive, but the spell effects looked really cool. You had almost some kind of like Inception thing going on there. A lot of it was cinematic. You know, so that's interesting. I've heard about that being made, but I don't know that they've ever shown anything before. So it's called, what is it, Hogwarts Legacy, and that just says 2021. Then they showed Black Ops Cold War. I don't know, not really a Call of Duty guy. I liked Blackout mode, and Warzone was kind of fun, but for me. But so that's the thing. Then they got Resident Evil 8. They showed more of that, like a cinematic. I haven't played 7. I'm not really a big horror fan in general, but I did love Resident Evil 2 Remake. That was my game of the year. You should check out that video for 2019. So Resident Evil 8, I don't know. Don't have much to say about that. Then they showed Deathloop. This is kind of interesting. It has almost like a Grindhouse Tarantino style of art and presentation. It seems to be like an assassin, sneaky shooter type game. It's published by Bethesda. It's made by Arcane. Those guys made Dishonored games, which super good, super good. There is some kind of looping time mechanic, which could be interesting. There's also a multiplayer component where you're like a dueling assassins, but I'm kind of unclear as to how that exactly works. Kind of interesting. That is another timed exclusive, and a lot of these they put exclusive on there. Really wish they would put timed exclusive. You have to actually research to see that. It's coming out mid 2021. So yeah, another timed exclusive. So in terms of what we talked about, I think the only actual exclusive is Spider-Man. Not mistaken. Let's see here. They showed Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition. It looks kind of cool. I mean, I played Devil May Cry 5. I did some streams and Let's Plays of it. I only ever played the first Devil May Cry. Didn't really like it, but only played a little bit of it. But that fifth one was actually pretty good. So that is available digitally, I think only at launch. Devil May Cry Special Edition. And they showed a new Oddworld game. Oddworld, I think it's Soulstorm. It's a 2020. It says exclusive. I actually didn't research to see if that's a time exclusive or not, because I've never really been a big fan of the Oddworld stuff too much, but it has its fan base, and that could be cool. So yeah, we got Deathloop, Devil May Cry, Black Ops. Then they showed a Five Nights at Freddy's teaser trailer, which is kind of interesting. I never played Five Nights at Freddy's because I'm not really a big horror guy, but obviously it was a very big game. You know, you had a lot of YouTubers doing their melodramatic reactions, like, "Oh my god, I'm so scared. I'm so scared." So that's Five Nights at Freddy's teaser. Okay, now we're getting to it. Demon Souls Remake. This is one of my most anticipated games of the year. I'm a massive fan of the series. I pretty much 100%ed all of them, and actually Dark Souls is probably my favorite series right now in general. But Demon Souls is the only one I haven't 100%ed or even played. I've only watched a couple Let's Plays of it, and one of the reasons is because I was waiting specifically for a remaster or a remake. And a lot of people were saying that that may not happen because there's all kind of weird licensing deals. But it's happening, and that is awesome. That yeah, they showed a lot of gameplay in this one. There wasn't much fluff in this trailer, which I really loved. You know, straight up gameplay, kind of slow moving a little bit, and then they do like a hard cut type of situation. Yeah, it looks amazing. The only concern I have is it's being done by Bluepoint Games, not being developed by From Software. But you know, from what I understand, Bluepoint Games has been pretty good with remasters. They did the Shadow of the Colossus remaster, which is definitely a lauded remaster. This could compete for my game of the year. This Demon Souls game. I think it looks fantastic. I've seen footage of the original version, and there are some fans who say that this is their favorite Souls game. So, oh, yeah, can't wait for that one. And it's coming out on launch. November 12th is when. I don't know if I actually mentioned that, but November 12th is the launch date. That's 2 days after the Xbox Series X and Series S. So November 12th, and that is going to be a launch game. One of the weird things is they didn't say that it's coming out in launch. They didn't give a release date there. You had to actually like research it. So why? It's an inexplicable decision. But that is definitely a day one for me. I will be streaming and Let's Playing that, and probably cursing a lot. They showed a Fortnite thing after that real quick. I don't know. Then they showed PS Plus Update, which is basically the B-movie version of Game Pass for PlayStation. And I don't know, they showed a lot of good games on there. So maybe Sony's going to start making a push to compete in that space, because right now Microsoft is owning face in that space. It's one of the only things they got in terms of the strongest selling point they have, and it is a strong one. Let's see here. Okay, so then they ended with the prices, which again is $500 and $400. Release date November 12th. I think the digital version, let me just make sure here. I think it's, well, I know the physical version had 812 gigabytes of storage, which is a little bit of a bummer because the Series X is a terabyte. Not a huge deal, but, and then, so yeah, they ended with that. The digital version, unlike Xbox, is basically the same. There's not really much difference in the specs at all. And I'll go over Microsoft in a second. Oh, and they did one more thing. They said, oh, we got one more thing. They showed basically just a logo and the word Ragnarok with God of War soundtrack behind it. So that's a teaser for, I guess, a brand new God of War, or maybe it's a spin-off because it's coming out in 2021, which seems pretty soon for a new God of War game. But you know what? That's still super exciting. God of War 2018 was my number 2 game of the year list. And I think God of War might be Sony's best first-party exclusive IP right now. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. But the fact that they were able to like reshape how that game is and make it amazing, I think God of War is could be the one for them. So yeah, PS5 event. Really, really good. And it was a very different strategy than Microsoft. But I will just say that, yeah, PS5. That's where I'm at right now. I own all the Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo consoles, unless you count Virtual Boy. So, not really biased in this, but in terms of what I definitely would rather have at this point, yeah, it's the PS5. But that said, Game Pass is something that I will always get if they keep doing what they're doing, because it really is the Netflix of games, and it's amazing. So what else do we have? Anything else on Sony? They've been kind of unclear in terms of backwards compatibility, which is a bit of a bummer, and different things like controllers, like you can't use the PS4 controllers on the PS5. So in those aspects, I think Microsoft is winning because they're pushing serious backwards compatibility. You can use the Xbox One controllers on this new system. You can play apparently the very first Xbox games on the Series X and S, which is kind of mind-blowing. So yeah, amazing event. They don't have a lot on launch, unfortunately. It's going to come bundled with the Astro Playroom, I think it's called, which looks cool. Demon Souls is a launch title. Cyberpunk's not, but I think it's coming out a week after, so it's close. Even though it's not exclusive, but still. So anyway, great event. Let's talk about the Series X real quickly. The information that we know. Okay. Let's see here. What kind of notes do I have? So they got two systems. They also have a physical and digital. One of the interesting things that they're going for, though, is the digital is only $300, digital only for a next-gen system. So they're going the route of like value and budget, where you have Game Pass, save a ton of money on games that way, and then you can get the Xbox Series S, which is $300. The big boy of the pair is $500. That's the Series X, both on November 10th. So let's look at some differences here. Now, the X, both of them are going for 60 frames per second, which is great. Hopefully they'll exceed that, but they better at least hit that. Key difference, 4K gaming. The X can do 4K gaming. The S can do 1440p. But it's a $200 price difference. So, and honestly, I don't think we're going to see a ton of games fully utilizing 4K. I hope I'm proven wrong, but that's a lot of resources, and to get it running at a smooth frame rate at 4K, we'll see. I'm reticent to believe that. CPU speed basically the same between the two. Both are backwards compatible. They said thousands of games from all Xbox consoles, even the first one. Let's see. Okay, so the S is digital only. I'm not going to get a digital only system, whether it be Microsoft or PlayStation, because I like physical copies. Plus, with the memory problems of storage, okay. Here's a big bummer for the S, the $300 next-gen Xbox system. 512 gigabytes of memory. That is not great. That's like 2 Call of Duties right there. And especially considering the fact that it's digital only, it's not great. The X has a terabyte, which is the most of the system, any of the systems. PS5 is 825 gigabytes, yes. None of that's a huge deal breaker for me, because I usually just end up having a couple games or a handful of games, and then when I finish it, I just delete it off my system, and the save file still remains. But it's just a little annoyance. Quick note here, Microsoft says the S is their smallest console ever, and it is. It's a pretty sleek system. It's small. Looks like you can fit like 3 in the X. Teraflops, you got 12 in the X, 4 in the S. So if you're into teraflops. And the PS5 has 10.28. It's a very specific number. So there you go. Basically, the Series X on paper should perform a little bit better than the PS5, but the SSD, the custom SSD in the PS5, it's hard to know how it's going to shape out, because a lot of these factors that people don't think about or realize is that a lot of what makes a good system run well is how well the internal infrastructure is, In other words, how easy it is for developers to develop on the system. So, you know, if you go back in the day, like the Jaguar, it was 64 bits as opposed to 16 bits in most of the other system. But the reason why it looks so crappy is because it was so hard for developers to actually develop on it and get the most out of it. So it's always very tough to tell what system's going to look and run the best until we actually get it. Let's see. Is there anything else in here I need to go over? Yeah, I mean, oh, okay, so the Series X and S and all the systems, Game Pass. EA Play is included with Game Pass now. It's freaking ridiculous, man. Game Pass is absurdly good. No extra charge, they say. At least for now. I mean, I can't imagine that they don't up the price of it, because it is ridiculous how good Game Pass is. And you get EA Play here. I'm not even a big EA fan necessarily, but, you know, that's pretty darn amazing. So yeah, there are very different approaches to surmise it. Sony is going for very traditional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, this is the next gen, that's the old stuff, or we're all moving on approach. Whereas Microsoft's taking a sort of, I don't know, more broader sense of everything, where it's like, well, we have the new system and we have a couple versions of that, but the games will still play on the other stuff, so you can still play everything, but if you want the upgraded version, and we're also all on PC as well. Oh, and we have this Game Pass thing going on. So it's very, very different strategies. Right now, I mean, there's no doubt about it, PlayStation is winning the battle. Obviously, I think any objective viewer would say that. But I think Microsoft did what they needed to do by having a budget option. It would have been nice to have the Series X at least $50, if not $100 cheaper. I know that's tough because it is, in theory, the most powerful system. But yeah, if they had made that 400 instead of 5, that would have been big time needed. But you still have the Series S. With the pandemic and everybody hurting right now, I think that's going to really help Microsoft try to catch up to Sony. That, combined with Game Pass, that's going to help a lot. And again, they're taking a more software approach, so that's their strategy. Sell games, sell these services, and systems are kind of tertiary to everything else. Whereas Sony's like, no, the system is a big part of our push. Yeah, well, that's it, guys. That's the event, and let me know what you think in the comments. Am I a Sony pony? Am I an Xbox fanboy? I don't know, but I want to see them both compete because competition is good. And I was worried about Microsoft there, and I still am, but they did the right moves for what they need to do for now. But we'll see. Let me know what you guys are thinking, and I will catch you next one. Bye.